This is the review sheet for the lab portion of your test. You will have 5 questions. They will be similar to this, and I'm going to go through what's expected of you on your test. So the first one on this review sheet says find the mean, median, mode, and standard deviation for the given sample data. Round your answer to the nearest tenth if necessary. Use Google. For your test, I will ask you to submit the results in a final PDF format. So you're going to do all of your work for these, or most of your work for these, in Google, and then I will ask you to submit that final document. So the first thing that you're going to need to do is open up Google. So let me open Google. And you're going to go into your drive, and you're going to open a new sheet, a new Google sheet. And so for this one, the work that you have is you're going to need to put your data in Google. And you can always put your data in order by highlighting, selecting data, sort, and it puts it in order. And you're going to be writing, you're going to type in Google your mean, your median, your mode, and your standard deviation. And let's make this a little bigger so the word standard deviation will fit. And I'm checking to see if you can do the calculations in Google. So for this one, you're going to be putting equals average. Highlight your data, enter. There's your average. Median, so equals median. Highlight, enter. There's your median. Mode, remember that if you have more than one, Google doesn't work as well, so I'm looking over here at my data. 20 occurs the most often, so 20 is my mode, but let's say 20 had occurred twice and 18 had occurred twice, my answer would be 18 and 20. So this one, my answer is just 20. For standard deviation, equals standard. And remember that with standard deviation, you start typing the ST and you see the standard deviation. If you go past that, the next thing that pops up is standardize. That's not what you want for standard deviation. You want the STDEV. You do have your commands in your Moodle module if you need to pull those up and look at those. Highlight, enter. There's my standard deviation. Now, you're going to have a hard copy of this test, and it's probably going to have blanks on it, and you will be typing in the blank. So let's just put a blank here so you can see what I'm talking about. In the blank, beside the blank, there will be a place for mean, a place for median, a place for mode, and a place for standard deviation. And I'm asking you to type those answers, not type, but write those answers on your hard copy to turn it in. So I will be looking at your answers, but I will also be looking at your document, your final document that you either send, I haven't decided yet, either send to me or print for me. You will have a set of specific directions that will tell you what I want. So since this says to round to the nearest tenth, your standard deviation will be 3.5. For the next problem, and it will be like this on your test also, I give you a list of grades and you have to calculate a GPA. You will be calculating the GPA in Google. You will be writing the answer rounded to the nearest tenth right here on the blank. So let's go into Google. And we're going to put our work here. You've got credit hours, you've got grades and credit hours. So here's my grade for this one. Remember that the way the quality points work is that you get 4 for an A, 3 for a B, 2 for a C, 1 for a D, and 0 for an F. So when you go up here and you look at your credit hours that they give you in the problem, you received an A for 3 credit hours. An A is worth 4 points, so 4 times 3 is 12. You received a D for 1 credit hour. A D is worth 1 point. 1 times 1 is 1. That's what goes there. You received a D for 2 credit hours. A D is worth 1 point. 1 times the 2 is 2. You received an F for 2 credit hours. An F is worth 0 points. So 0 times the 2 is 0. And you received a D for 3 credit hours. 3 times 1 is 3. So that's what you have so far. Now you could get Google to do the math for you. You know, if I wanted to do equals 4 times 3, that would still give me 12 and I could do it. Or it's just multiplication. You have a calculator. You can just do it and put the numbers in there. You're going to need to have total for the credit hours, and you're going to need to have the total for the quality points. So you're going to need to come over here and say equals sum and do a total for this one. You're going to need to come over here and do a total for this column. So equals sum and do a total for this one. GPA is actually this total, the 18, divided by this total. So the 18 divided by the 11. 18 is in column C13, and the 11 is in column B13. So to calculate my GPA, I'm going to do equals C13 divided by B13. And that gives me a GPA when I round to the nearest tenth of 1.6. You'll need to leave your work on your sheet so that I'll be able to see what you've done, and then your answer will go over here with the GPA. For number 3, you don't actually need Google. You need your chart, and you need to know that chart. I'm not going to let you use it on the final exam. You need to know that yellow piece of paper that I gave you, and you need to know the percentages that I have given you for that. So remember that the percentages work this way, that in the middle of the chart, each side, the left and the right of the chart, is 50%. In each little area, one standard deviation on each side is 34%. Then 13.5, then 2. Remember, I've given you all this on your sheet, so you need to go look that up and study it. For this problem, it has a mean of 48, so 48 goes in the middle, a standard deviation of 5, so I'm going to add 5 and get 53, add 5 more and get 58, subtract 5 and get 43, subtract 5 more and get 38. It's asking me what percentage of the time will it take less than 53 minutes. Here's 53 minutes. Less is all the numbers to the left. So if I look at this, less than 48 is 50%. This little area between 48 and 33 is 34%. So 50 plus 34 is 84. And for your test, you will have a blank that asks you to write the number in it, but I will also be looking at your drawing, which you will turn in with it, or I may ask you to draw it on the page. For number 4, I ask you to use this data for a kangaroo's nasal length and width to come up with the equation to predict length and width. You will have a blank, so scroll down so you can see it. You will have a blank here that will say equation, and that's what I'm asking you for on this one. However, in order to get that equation, you're going to have to do a little bit of work. So you're going to need to put the data in. So we're going to just type our data in. So I have my data typed in. You want to make sure, go back and maybe check it, make sure you're right. But you're going to highlight, insert, chart. You want a scatter plot. So we're going to insert a scatter plot. Remember that in order to get our equation, we go into Advanced Edit. We're going to pull up the trend line. We're going to say linear. It'll draw a line on it. We're going to say use equation. I hit update. Here is my equation. This is what you will type on the line where I've asked equation for the equation. You need to leave your work in here though so that I will be able to see it when I ask for it. So let's look at the last one. On the last one, I say suppose that you were 22 inches long at birth and 3.5 feet tall on your 10th birthday. Based on these two data points, create a linear equation for the function that describes how height varies with age. Use the equation to predict the height at age 2 and at age 41. Use Google to put the two data points in, create a scatter plot, and get the equation to answer the question. So I'm asking you for a few things here. I'm asking you for your data points, which you will type. The data points are, at birth you were 24 inches tall, so that would be 0,22. That's in inches. Now you're going to need to do your conversion here. 3.5 feet tall, when I do a conversion, there are 12 inches in a foot. So 3 times 12 is 36. 36 plus a half a foot is 6 inches. So 36 plus 6 is 42. So this one you will have at birth 0.22, at 10.42. So you have two data points, 0.22 and 10.42. You're going to go into Google, and I'm just going to go back up here and I'm going to type 0 and 10. Those are my two ages. 22 and, what did I say, 42. Those are my heights. I'm going to go in and highlight, insert, chart, scatter plot. I just need the two. I think I'm going to move this one. It might be a good idea for you guys to move them to their own sheet so that they're out of the way so that you can look at these things. So I'm going to move this one down where I can see it. I'm going to hit move to own sheet for that one so that I can play with it a little bit better. Do an advanced edit so that I can get my trend line, linear, and then I can get label, use equation. My equation is y equals 2x plus 22, so that's what I'm going to need. So I'm going to go over here to my test. I'm writing my data points in. You will be asked to write the equation. The equation is y equals 2x plus 22. I've also asked you to make a prediction for age 2. So age 2. And I've asked you to make a prediction for age 41. And this is going to give you the answer in inches. So for age 2, I would take it and I would plug a 2 in there, in where the x is. So 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 22 is 26, so you would have 26 inches on this one. For age 41, you would have 2 times 41 is 82, and 82 plus 22 is 104 inches. So you would have 104 inches on this one. So that's what I'm looking for. You will be asked when you're finished. We're going to go ahead and update this, and it's already on its own sheet. So you're going to go into your sheet. You're going to call it your name. I'll have those directions on there. You're going to hit File, Download As, PDF. All sheets, hit All Sheets so that you have them all. Export. Open. When I open it, notice it is 3 pages long. I'll hit File, Save As. Desktop, it says Reagan on it so that I can find it. I will either ask you to print it out and turn it in for me, or I will ask you to upload it into Moodle. I will probably ask you to upload it into Moodle so that I can see it all. But that's what you'll be doing for the lab portion of your test. Remember that you have 50 minutes on that second day, so you're going to need to make sure that you can do this quickly, that you know what's going on, or you will run out of time.